What is up, everybody? In this video I want to talk about which main JoJo has the biggest heart. Obviously I love doing JoJo villain videos, but how am I gonna do that JoJo villain with the biggest heart? Maybe if you guys like this video and ask for a villain one, sure I will do it, but that would be a bit goofy if I did a villain one for this video idea. But we're just gonna jump right into it with the first JoJo, the main first JoJo, Jonathan Joestar. Jonathan Joestar, I mean, do I really have to even explain at this point, bruh? It's Jonathan Joestar. Of course the dude has a ginormous heart. Come on now. If I were to like give a 10 out of 10 ranking for Jonathan, it's an easy 10. I barely even have to explain why Jonathan is a 10 out of 10. We all know why he is. Comparing him to all the other JoJos, he's an easy 10, no question about it. The dude is always kind, he's always there, like, it's Jonathan Joestar, like, what, like, come on now, like, Jonathan Joestar, you know, like, of course he's gonna have the biggest heart. When I think of the nicest JoJo, I always think of Jonathan Joestar. The dude is a gentleman, he's not a simp, he's a gentleman. Jonathan Joestar is an easy and definite 10 out of 10. Easy. I mean, I don't even have to explain it like that. It's Jonathan Joestar. Next is Joseph Joestar. Is Joseph Joestar, does he have a big heart? I don't know if I would say Joseph Joestar has a big heart. I mean, I think he does the right thing. Obviously, all the JoJos are good people, but I wouldn't say this guy has a big heart like that. Well, maybe. He is just a bit cocky and a bit overconfident sometimes, and he is kind of goofy, but that's the charm about Joseph Joestar, obviously. He's all those things and more. I feel like Joseph Joestar is probably in the middle, I'd say. He does help out a lot of people. He cares about a lot of people. Same, like with Smokey, he didn't tolerate any racism with Smokey. Yeah, he can be a bit goofy and kind of a jerk sometimes, like to the cat, or, you know, sometimes I guess he's literally friends with Nazis, but I don't know, man. I don't see Joseph as like a bad guy. I think he's more in the middle. I'd probably give him like a 7 out of 10 out of big heart. You know, he is kind of goofy sometimes, but that's why I like Joseph, and he is nice and saves people at the end of the day, so it's definitely a 7 out of 10. For me, at least, I'd give Joseph a 7, maybe 7.5. After Joseph is Jotaro. Jotaro's probably not gonna have a huge heart. He does save people and he cares about them. He saves innocents, but having a big heart, I don't know about Jotaro having a big heart. I'm not gonna deny that he's a great person and saves people around him, and you know, he definitely is a hero, but big heart? I would say he has like a 6 out of 10, maybe, yeah, 6.5, maybe 6, I'd say for Jotaro. He's just too much of a dick, I can't lie. I mean, Joseph is, but Jotaro is, I don't know, Jotaro just doesn't feel like he does as compared to some of the other JoJos. Like I said, I think Jotaro is a hero and is a good person. Yeah, you know, he cares about his friends too and cares about innocent lives, just like all the JoJos, but in comparison to the other JoJos, I would say Jotaro has a 6 out of 10. That's just me, though. That's just what I think about Jotaro. He just seems too, like, he's a bit more on the edgy side than the other. Like, Joseph was already a bit more edgy than Jonathan, but Jotaro is definitely just, oh man, this guy's kind of a dick, not gonna lie. After Jotaro is Josuke Higashikata. Josuke definitely has a big heart to me. I feel like he's the heart and soul of Morio sometimes. The dude Stan literally helps other people and restores things, while Kira's destroys them. I feel like Josuke has a really big heart. He does have a bit of a temper when it comes to his hair, but I also think that does also tie into how big his heart is, because he's not going to let someone disrespect a true hero to Josuke, because that man, the savior of Josuke, the guy who looks a lot like him, whatever, that's why he copied the hair, did like put his life on the line for Josuke, which is what Josuke sees as a true hero, and he's not gonna let anyone disrespect him. I think Josuke is does have some teenage attributes, but he's a teenager, man. Like, what do you expect? He's gonna do some things that are teenage maybe and those things aren't even bad per se. I think Josuke definitely has a huge heart. I'd say he has a 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10 heart, because Josuke, he cares about his friends, he cares about innocent lives, he hates that, he has that thing. I think Jotaro also hates on people who manipulate other people that are weaker and innocent. But I feel like Josuke is more friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, while Jotaro is more the Dark Knight kind of thing, you know what I'm saying? Not to say Batman doesn't care about people, but you know what I mean. I feel like Josuke's out here, he would help the little guy more often than not than Jotaro would. No diss to Jotaro, Jotaro's still a W and he is a hero and I respect him, but Josuke definitely does a bit more to me, at least, than what a kind heart should be to me, is what I would say Josuke is. He's not, he's not Jonathan level. 10 out of 10 is crazy, but he's definitely a 9 out of 10 for me. For Josuke, at least, is a 9 out of 10. After Josuke is Giorno. Giorno, I feel like, is a tough one to rank, because Giorno does unalive people. Not gonna lie, he does do that. But at the same time, those guys are criminals. Yes, Josuke may not spare their lives or, sentence them to being a freaking rock like Josuke's sick mind, but I feel like Giorno just has kind of a middle of the thing. Giorno's not super kind because, yeah, he's stealing from and trying to take advantage of, innocent tourists, but at the same time, he's trying to help people and change the way that the mafias run and make it for the better, which is definitely admirable. But at the same time, this dude doesn't seem like the nicest guy around. He's unaliving people left and right, whether they are deserve it or not. You're still going crazy brutally, also brutally. And I feel like Giorno also isn't he's nice to his friends, and he seems like he cares a lot about his friends. He would do anything to save them when it comes to that, and he would do anything to save the people in his group. But innocent lives, I don't know if Giorno's going to go out of his way for that all the time, at least. I think Giorno's more of a bigger picture kind of guy. I don't know. I would say Giorno is probably a 7 out of 10 on how big his heart is, at least. After Josuke is Jolene. Do I think Jolene has a big heart? I don't know about that. She is kind of a bastarde. I wouldn't say she has a huge heart. I'd say it's kind of in the middle. Same thing with Giorno. Whilst Giorno does care about his friends and wants to save his friends all the time. He's the first dude to say, hey, I gotta save Naruto. All this bull. Jolene's the same way. I don't think Jolene's out here saving innocents over and over like Jonathan. I don't see her as Jonathan or Josuke like that. She's more so, I would say, kind of in the middle. 7 out of 10, maybe 6 out of 10. I don't see her. She's not Dio over here, unaliving people. My bad. Unaliving people. But she does do some pretty diabolical stuff to other people. I wouldn't say she's a bad person. She's a really good person, but at the same time, this bit isn't saving people. She's not Jonathan, and she's not Josuke. She's not out here. She's not like my boys, okay? She's definitely in the middle. She does save people. Innocent lives, not so much. Let's say the same thing. She's not friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, but she's more Dark Knight Batman is what I would say. But she's not full Dark Knight Batman. She's kind of halfway there. She's not full Jotaro, but she's more so in the middle. So I would give her a 6 out of 10, 7, maybe 6.5, probably. That's what I would say for Jolene, at least. After Jolene is Johnny Joe Starr, my boy. Johnny Joe Starr having a big heart, I would say, is a bit of a stretch. I feel like he's a bit more selfish than some of the other JoJos. It's not to say he doesn't care about Gyro, because him and Gyro have a really great relationship and a really great development over the course of Steel Ball Run. But I wouldn't say he's out here trying to save lives, you know. I feel like Johnny Joestar is more kind of like Giorno, but he's not going out of his way to kill some people or take advantage of other people like Giorno. He's more so just there to further his own goals, and he's there for himself and for his close friends, while Giorno is kind of has a similar thing with making the Mafia different or better for him or better for the people of Italy, while at the same time he's not out there saving people in Italy like that. Johnny's the same way. Also, Johnny Joestar takes place in a very different time than Giorno as well, which back then I guess it was, I wouldn't say it was fine to kill people back then, but like it definitely doesn't have the same impact as the time Giorno is compared to, you know, Johnny Joestar. I don't think if Johnny Joestar, like, you know, unalived someone, then it really depends. Like most people I'd say wouldn't look at it super bad if it's in self-defense, like, oh well, you tried to know that ain't to be right there, boy. Like, and then compared to, you know, the 2000s where Giorno was living, they're definitely gonna be like, bruh, you just unalive that guy, man. You know, you gotta have some explaining to do. I would say it was more acceptable, kind of. It's not fully acceptable, I wouldn't say, because they still had, you know, people going to jail and stuff, and then the death penalties and things like that. But I would say with Johnny Joestar's time, it was definitely a bit more acceptable and not looked down upon as Giorno's time, which is why it inclines Johnny Joestar to do that a bit more often. The times are definitely different. I'm over here giving a freaking history lesson in Jojo, but I would say Johnny's more like a 6.5 too. I wouldn't say he's a 5. I think Jojo was like a 6. Johnny's like, not even. I'd say he's like a 5.5 maybe. Johnny Joestar's like a 5.5, I would say. And then after is Josuke from Part 8. I haven't read enough for Part 8, guys. Let me know in the comments down below what you think Josuke from Part 8 is. From what I've read, the little bit that I've read so far, I wouldn't say he's like, oh man, I only know he's lost his memory, and I think the Joe bro for that part is Yashu. I remember when before I started to read a little bit of it, I was like, oh well, I was confused on the Joe bro. I'm pretty sure the Joe bro is Yashu though. But you guys let me know what the Part 8, you know, how big his heart is for Josuke's Part 8. And Part 9, none of us barely know that much for Part 9, but if you want to give me your opinion on what you would think Jodio's big heart is, I guess you can. But that's going to be it for this video, guys. Hope you all enjoyed this one. Peace. Yeah.